What's up guys, I am Kenny from Upscale Lures, and today we're going to be testing out the 3D printed Gouger, also called a hook remover. We're going to try it out, test it out, see if it is worth printing. Let's get started. First things first, this is not my design, I'm just testing it out, so if you are interested in printing some of these up, I will leave the links below that will take you right to Thingiverse where you can download the STL file and you can try these out. The original size is just about 5 inches, it's the middle one right here. This will be good for, smaller hooks for panfish. And then I did want to scale it up a bit, for bigger hooks, more for bass, you could say. So I got this out to just about 8 inches long. The designer of this does recommend printing this out with 100% infill, which is a completely solid plastic print, which I do agree with that. For how small it is, you're gonna want it solid just so you have a less chance of snapping this. The lakes and rivers are not really ideal to be fishing right now. The lakes are half frozen, not very safe, and all the rivers are like raging waters. So the odds of catching something were pretty slim. So the next best thing is I came up with this fish idea out of a shipping envelope. As you can see, it's got some nice gills, got some eyes, some great detail, and I think this will work pretty good. So we're gonna start off with a smaller hook here. If I can grab it, here it is, just a small little panfish hook. We'll get this guy hooked. So he comes along and he takes the worm. All right, there we go. So now we got that hook in there. Another thing that I did notice, I was looking up some other videos where they're using the hook removers, and you can't really see in the fish's mouth. You can't see, what's going on. So I think this is a cool view to actually see how to do it. You're gonna want to put some tension on the fishing line, and then take your hook remover and put it on the hook. You're gonna want to rotate it a little bit. And then downward force here. Boom, popped it right out, just like that. So pretty easy, that worked pretty good. Let's try it again. Again, you get the line, you want to put some tension on this. Get right on the hook, twist it, and downward pressure. It's hard with this because, it's giving the envelope. There we go. And popped right out. So there we go again. It works pretty good. That's with the smaller one. Since Bob the Bass looks decently sized, we upgraded the hook here to a little bit bigger so we can try out the 8-inch Gouger. So we'll get this guy set in here. Say we got some, maybe put some live bait on this thing, full-size worm, or maybe, a Shriner or a minnow. All right, let's try, we'll go right side of the mouth there. There we go. We're gonna put this tension on the fishing line again. Okay. Want to get the hook right into the slot there. Turn it so it locks in. Okay, turned it, locked in. Got the tension on the line. I'm going to hold Mr. Bob the Bass here. All right, let's get this a little more situated. All right, downward force. And boom. Nope, that didn't work. Try it again. All right, we got that on. We're gonna turn, and let's see if this will work here. Only if I had one more hand. Okay, there we go. Tension and downward force. So it does seem a little bit harder that it did puncture straight through, because you do have that, you have that barb. All right, we'll go straight down. There we go. So it did pop out. Just took a little more finagling, but it did work. we weren't paying attention. We were on our phone checking out Instagram, and this guy, Mr. Bob the Bass, he takes the hook down pretty deep. So not quite in his throat, but pretty deep in his mouth. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna take the smaller one, the original one, and like that, it does not fit. Like that hook is way too big. So this one is definitely for some smaller panfish hooks, and this 8-inch one does work pretty good for these bigger hooks. We get that in the slot. You get in there. You twist. Okay, and then down, straight down, and that pops right out. Man, that does work really good. Once you get that hook right into that slot, this gives you the extreme amount of leverage that there's no other choice for that hook just to pop right out, you know, once you give it that downward force. I did try smaller hooks with this one. I did bigger worm hooks with the 8-inch one. Now, what I want to try to do is to see if this would work on treble hooks, because you got 3 different hooks basically coming together that it is wider. So as you can see, hope you can see there, that doesn't really fit in there. So you're not gonna be able to really get that leverage. So what I wanna try to do, I'm gonna try to open this slot up a little bit. You know, just open that up a little bit, maybe a file. We'll see what I got, see what works the best, and see if that will fit into there so we can remove treble hooks. I gotta take quite a bit out. There it is. That might actually work. It's getting some like torque on the split ring. We got the 3D printed lipless crankbait. We got Bob the Bass, and he decides to chomp down on this thing and set the hook on him. There we go. All right, so now what we're gonna want to do, put that tension on it again with the fishing line. Okay, we got the bigger Gouger with the modified end here. Let's see if this works. We're gonna get that right on the treble hook, which now it does, it's not perfect, but it does fit in there. You're not getting that same like locked in action. Let's see here. Let's see if it's, hopefully that don't get too shaky for you guys. And plus these treble hooks are a little bit smaller. That could be posing a little bit of an issue too, but okay, so there we go. I have that tension on there. I'm gonna push it straight out the best way. Oh, I think it'll work. And there you go. So that did work. Let's try it again and see if we get the same results. Bob got really hungry and he decided to inhale this whole thing. You know, just a very bad, you know, one of those like, you got to be kidding me hook sets, just redonkulous. So there we go. So now you're trying to save this bass's life and you need to get these hooks out. He's locked in there. So let's see if this hook remover will get the job done. So we'll get the tension on first, and I think this bottom one's gonna be our best bet to get that out. We're gonna get that locked in, and then you put that straight down force. Okay, look at that, that worked really good. And then this one's kind of side hooked here. Let's get that hook remover kind of locked in wherever you can basically find to get that tension on there. Okay, so that's kind of locked in there. Nope, that's not gonna work, so it's like pivoting. So I'm gonna want to get it, there we go. That's gonna work right there. So hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, so that's locked in, and you're gonna want to give it that straight down action. And look at that, that popped out really good. That popped out really good. So it does work, this modified Gouger. I opened this up a little bit. You guys could use a file. I used the good old Dremel. That got the job done. Just took quite a bit to clear that out. Maybe possibly this is something I could do at a later time and improve on this. So this would be better for treble hooks. You know, find the right way to do it so it does lock in like it did with the more smaller worm hooks. I'm gonna show you guys one more modification I want to make to this. I'm gonna start by making a little pilot hole. Get that started right there. Get this tied on. Tighten that up. Nice and tight. There we go. We'll add it to my other fishing tools. I like to carry this with me at all times. You got the good old tape measure and the hemostats, which I think will work, you know, quite a bit of the time when you're trying to get a hook out. But I think there is, you know, I think this Gouger, it does work pretty good, and you get that such a great amount of leverage to get that hook out, and I think you do have less chance of damaging your line. The overall verdict, I would have to say, is this is definitely worth a print. I'll give it 2 thumbs up on this one. It worked really good. It is quite an easy print. You don't even need support on this print, and you know, it's just easy to do. You can add it, you know, to your to your tackle box or your other fishing tools. It's light, you know, it's not hard to carry, and just overall, just a good, easy print, you know, that works. And I think Bob the Bass here would have to agree. You know, I was impressed that once you do get that leverage on there and push it out, that thing pops out pretty good. You know, you do need to know, you know, what size hooks you're going to be using. If they're the smaller ones, for panfish, they do have to be pretty small. You're going to want the original size one. And, you know, if you're more for bass or anything bigger, you're going to want to scale it up. And I scaled this one up to about 8 inches. So you will have to do a little finagling with that. And with all that being said, if you do want to print this, the links will be below to take you right to Thingiverse so you can get the STL files. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single view, every single subscription. It helps support my company, support my channel to help make bigger and better projects for you guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.